Welcome to AstroEnergy with astrologer angel Shelley Overton. Hey, how are you? I'm so happy to be back. I had a little bit of trouble last week. I wasn't able to get on air the way I had wanted to, and so I just put it off a week instead of stressing out over it. So I am very happy. This is Shelley Overton. You are listening to the AstroEnergy show on Blog Talk Radio, and I'm very happy to be back today. And I want to give a shout out to those in the chat room who are my regulars and those who aren't. So, hey, welcome. Good to see you. I've received notice there's a bit of an echo, but there's nothing I can do about that from my end because I'm on the means of communication that is given to me through Blog Talk, and so I'm sorry. I hope that can be cleared up. But anyway, if any others hear that as well, just let me know. Maybe during the break I can call back in. But with the new system, it's not as easy. They have their own phone-in system now, and so I don't know if I could do that. Anyway, okay, so last time we were going to talk about the T-square between Mars, Uranus, and Pluto, but nobody got to hear me, so I went on for 15 minutes, and yeah, so we're going to do it this week. And also, if you would like to get a reading this week, the number is 347-994-3365. And if you do call in and would like a reading, hit the 1 button. That lets me know that you're interested in getting a reading. So I will call on you after I tell everybody what I have to say here about astrology. Okay, so this week I'm going to start out of the gate. I've got the moon on my moon. The moon is at 12 degrees Scorpio today, and that is right on my moon. So you all get to feel what it's like to have a moon in Scorpio. So what it is it can be emotional, it can be intense, it can be a roller coaster, it can be really deep feeling and very committed, or it can be vindictive. So I try to not live out any vindictive qualities. I know it's there. I know that there are times when I would just like to slap a few people, but ultimately that's not where my benefit comes from, and I don't think it is for anybody else. But unfortunately, with a moon in Scorpio, it makes the majority of us a little bit less inclined to accept things as they are and more inclined to act out and get revenge. And, you know, the thing with Scorpio moons is, and Scorpio in general, because we also have Venus there, is first off, it's a very strong feminine energy. And so you'll be seeing people in power, women more in power right now, and Venus will be there for a few more weeks. So it's kind of going to be a really strong time of women power and testing the boundaries of the power. So yeah, moon in Scorpio, it's a little emotional. I'm not going to kid you. And it's also, it can be the first, well, no, I shouldn't say that. It's a higher intense power of Mars. So Mars is probably more just a direct, hey, you know, I need to take action and I want to do this. And Scorpio, which is ruled by Pluto, is much more burn it to the ground, take no prisoners. We're going to do this thing and don't ask me why, I'm just going to do it. So the moon went into Scorpio, I believe, early this morning. It might have been yesterday. I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly. I had a question in the chat room. It's at 12 degrees, and it goes fairly quickly since it's, a moon cycle is around 30 days. So it's about, no, wait a minute, it's 2.5 degrees. Oh, my goodness. I have someone at the door, and not very good. Hang on a second. It's probably my dad. Hey, I'm on my radio show. I just started it. Hang on. Let me mute you. Hang on for a second. Sorry. Oh, that's so sweet, though. My parents stopped by. They're out Christmas shopping and had to ask me a question. Forgot I changed the time of my show. Anyway, I apologize to my listeners, and we're good. We're back. And so, anyway, yeah, Moon in Scorpio, it's so 28 days it takes to go all the way through all the signs. So if you think about it, it's about 2.5 days in a sign. So it went in, I believe. I don't have the exact date or time, but I know it was yesterday afternoon. I think it was like around 5 maybe yesterday, and that's Eastern. So, okay. Well, that kind of put me in a good mood, believe it or not. Not that I wasn't already in a good mood. But, okay, so Saturn is in Sagittarius. Sun is at 16 Sagittarius. Mercury is at 27 Sagittarius. Pluto's at 14 Capricorn. Neptune is in Pisces at 7 degrees. South Node at 27 Pisces. Uranus at 16 Aries retrograde, coming into the last 17 days before he turns direct. And so we're going to start feeling it, I would say, in about a week. It's going to get much more pronounced. And it's going to be very much a renegade energy. People are going to be feeling like, I'm mad and I can't take this restriction anymore, and now I have to act out. So look for those explosive tantrums coming, and that can be also across the board. It's personal, it's universal, it's everyone. And because Mars is at 15 Libra, he's at the opposite side of the chart. Mars and Libra wants to make it work. They want to make it all copacetic and everyone gets along. Unfortunately, that isn't really where Uranus is at right now, because he's been retrograde. He's really frustrated, and Mars is the ruling planet of Aries, the sign he's in. So he's just ready to explode and express himself. And so, yeah, he's out of the gate trying to do something, and Uranus we're talking about. And he hasn't been able to make things happen. He's been trying and trying, and it's just like not going the way he would want it to go. So after Christmas, Uranus goes direct. For a little bit, it's going to be all the planets for, I would say, about a week. We're going to have all the planets going direct, and then we're going to have Jupiter retrograde on the 6th. So just over 10 days. We're going to have a very lovely time where everybody is much more in their own power and their own energy, with the exceptions of the planets that are in an uncomfortable sign, which will be Mars still. Venus rules Mars, and so he wants to take that lovely beauty and feminine energy and infuse it with some edge, some sex appeal, some grit. So, you know, really it's helping Libra take action on what they want, which is partnership. They want partnership, they want diplomacy, and Uranus is kind of the foil. And so I guess I should just go in. Well, no, I tell you what, let's go back over what else is going on in the sky real quick, and then we'll come back to this energy. That way I can finish up that side of it. Okay, so Jupiter at 21 Virgo, he gets to 23 degrees, so he's very close. So like I said, 6th of January, he goes retrograde. So he'll go all the way back to 13 degrees, and so he'll go 10 degrees retrograde, course, transit in an arc of 10 degrees, starting on the 6th of January, ending in May of next year. So he's looking to go back over what he's already done for the last couple months. I mean, he just went in to Virgo, I think it was the end of August, beginning of September. And so he flew through 21 degrees. He is just like zipping through, and it takes him a year to go through the signs, each sign individually. So, you know, to zip through to 21 is pretty fast. So he's like going, okay, burning it up. These are the subjects that you're going to be dealing with. You're going to be dealing with all the Virgo issues. You're going to be dealing with analysis and criticism and low self-esteem at times because of the criticism. You're going to be dealing with altruism, wanting to do things for other people, being of service, not sure if people are appreciating you or not. Definitely the Virgos have dealt with that. A few years ago, we had Saturn in Virgo, and that really kind of was a wake-up call for the Virgo people and people with strong Virgo in their charts to not just be a doormat anymore. And they started realizing that all the efforts they've been making haven't always been appreciated and reciprocated. So Jupiter is kind of like that last, hey, pay attention to this for about 14 years, roughly. Let me think. Yeah, about at least 14 years. Jupiter will come back around in that time, but we just had Saturn for 28 years, isn't going back to Virgo. Now he's down 7 degrees later, or excuse me, I have information coming through I can't get out fast enough. I think in symbols, so I'm not translating my symbols accurately. He's a quarter of the way through his journey from Saturn and Virgo. That means he's 7 degrees, or 7 years, 7 years and a quarter of the chart off of it, which is 90 degrees. So he's squaring Virgo now. Saturn is squaring Virgo. So he won't get back to Virgo for another 21 years, give or take. So really, all the major planets have had their time in Virgo. Jupiter is the last, what I consider to be a large planet, a slower planet. And so he's not going to be there again after he leaves next year for another 14 years. So really, we're kind of clearing out a certain quadrant of the zodiac of these harsher energies, or the ones that are really lesson-based. So the stronger lessons have been learned, and I was born with Pluto and Uranus and Virgo, and that was those are two of the most major planets, along with Neptune, transiting an area of your chart. So, they were in Virgo, and then they went through Libra and Scorpio, and now they're way around. Uranus is in Aries, Neptune is in Pisces, and Pluto's in Capricorn. So they've really transited through a lot of those those signs in that quadrant of the chart. So the transpersonal energy, so the Libra, the Scorpio, Sagittarius, and now we're finally wrapping up some of the Libra/Scorpio energy, which is relationship energy. So you're going to find that there are still, man, I really wish I could say that the endings and beginnings of relationships were kind of over, but this coming year I think is really going to be, well, I shouldn't even say that, because Jupiter will get into Libra and then Scorpio as well. So I would say 5 years, 3 or 4 years actually, it'll really start to ease up, but then we have all of the energy hitting with Pluto going into Aquarius right around the turn of the decade. So it's really a decade, I would say, of tumult, unfortunately. But in all that, we do have a lot of amazing wins coming up with letting go of things that are not in our own best interest. So, you don't necessarily avoid these aspects. You just learn to live with the energies. And quite honestly, more and more as I get into the intuitive side of astrology, I really feel all of these transits. While a lot of times people look at astrology, if they listen to my show or if they listen to other astrologers, and go, well, that sounds horrible. Why do we want to do that? Why do we want to go through that? And when will it stop? Blah, blah, blah. But the point is, each one of the signs has its own energy, has its own vibrational signature. And everyone in the world has those signs in their chart one way or another. Whether or not you have a planet there, you still are influenced by it in your chart. And those who have planets in each different sign, as these planets transit in the lights, moon and the sun, we each feel what it's like to have that energy. And our natal chart responds to that. Our natal chart doesn't necessarily like all the energies that are in the sky at the moment. So I guess when you say, how do you deal with that, you find your counterbalance. If you have something going on in the Scorpio area and it's feeling uncomfortable, you channel your Taurus, because it balances out Scorpio. So Scorpio is emotional and intense and passionate, and passionate. And Taurus is very grounded, and I don't want it to sound offensive, but plodding meaning they take time with their footing. So yes, it's grounded and calm, so that we can take time to really understand what those passions are about and not go off. So that's how you really balance your chart out. And then right now we have a lot of Sagittarius. So the Gemini energy could be helpful. Sagittarius, I got chills with this for some reason, so it must really be something that I have to express to you. Saturn, Sun, Mercury, all in Sagittarius. very much acting quickly, just keeping going, not stopping to see what happens from the actions you take. And it is action-oriented. So Gemini is Mercury ruled, so it's very much about the details, where Sagittarius is not about the details, it's just about the action. So you balance it with the details by looking at where your Gemini is. Like right now I'm looking at the chart. Right now all the Sagittarius is on the horizon. It's coming up. It's just expressing right now. And the other side of the world has Gemini. So that's where the energy is on the other side of the world. So it's also, well, I shouldn't say the other side of the world, the other horizon, which, yeah, I guess it's the other side of the world. Anyway, so the Gemini is education, it's learning. They're both education. One's lower education, like elementary education, which is Gemini, and Sagittarius is higher education and spirituality. So the Gemini can bring back in the element of the details and the communication, because Sagittarian is very much in their body and about expressing physically. Gemini is in the mind and about concepts. So that's how you balance that Sagittarius energy. Okay. Okay, so I pretty much have given you a photograph of what's going on with the planets, and now we'll go back the bus up and talk for about 3 minutes, because I don't want to let the whole show go to this. But so Mars is opposing Uranus, and Uranus is about so many things. Everything is about so many things, but I try to synopsize. Uranus is the heightened electrical energy of a Mercury vibration, and it's taking it to the next level. It's expressing it on a global scale, not just a local scale, which the quicker moving planets are much more localized and personal. The slower moving planets are global and transpersonal, meaning how we act with each other. So Uranus is about autonomy. It's about taking it to the next level, which if you look in the zodiac, Capricorn it goes Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. Those are the last 3 signs of the zodiac that Pluto is moving through, and Pluto's about halfway through Capricorn now. So Capricorn is about the structure and the physicality and the authority. And, you know, they say we're in the Aquarian age, or I really believe that come the next change in decade, which is 2020 to 2023, when Pluto goes into Aquarius, that really, to me, heralds the true Aquarian age. We are dabbling in it because we've had Uranus go through Aquarius, Neptune go through Aquarius, but Pluto really shifts and changes the energy and breaks it apart. Whatever the old dogma was, it breaks it up. And in Capricorn, the dogma is about structure and authority. And Aquarius, the next sign, shifts the energy into autonomy. And that we're having a struggle with that right now. And the autonomy, having to your own say-so, being in your own energy and knowing that you are responsible to yourself. And if you're responsible to yourself, you can be responsible for others. Then that energy is very much the next frontier, the next generation, the next bit of shift and change that we are going through as a people. And that means that we are going to be doing things that we are here to do. This is our life purpose. This is what we choose to do. We're going to do it and take ownership of it. So we don't have to point fingers and blame. We don't have to tell someone else. We don't have to take responsibility for something someone else is doing and then resent it. We can say, no, you have these talents, these skills. You do that. You be you. I'll be over here being me. Now, if you're a Capricorn, that means being you means taking some of the responsibility and organizing it and knowing that you are kind of the center of the hub and things go through you, but it doesn't mean you have to take someone else's responsibility. That's what Aquarius is wanting to do, take back its own responsibility for what it does. So Uranus rules Aquarius. So that energy is highly stimulated right now. It's on the vanguard with Aries. It's saying, okay, now here's the beginning of this energy for the next cycle. Boom, let's do this and let's do that and let's change things through the use of force and drive. And then when you use force, which is certainly not my choice because I'm a peace lover by nature, then you get hit back. That's what happens. You try to break something up, you take action forward, you're maybe erratic, which is Uranian. You hear things or bring things into your existence through channeling, because Uranus is very much about hearing things in your mind, like, quickly. It's instantaneous. You know it. You just know it. You don't know how to explain it. You know it. You just do. That's the sign of the genius. So wherever Uranus is in your chart, that's where your little bit of unique genius is found. And then so it's right now, again, it's retrograde, so it wants to act out, but it can't. It can't seem to move forward with the energy that's coming through, and it's coming through fast and furious, and it wants to take action. It wants to go out and take ownership of its life. So wherever it is in your chart right now, it's asking you to own that part of your life, and it doesn't even have to ask, because what you're doing is you're starting to say, no, leave me alone, I got this covered. Quit telling me what to do, Pluto and Capricorn, which they just had that battle earlier this year for the final time, at least in our lifetimes. And so afterwards, Uranus goes direct. Now Mars, let's see where Mars is at that point, because it's going to be Christmas, and Mars, I think, will have already passed Uranus. So we just have to find out where he is on Christmas Day when he goes direct. And he's going to be at 24 degrees Libra. So after Libra comes Scorpio, and definitely the new year. So you're talking Mars goes into Scorpio on the 4th. Jupiter turns retrograde. I don't like to say it or predict it, but I do think that war or military action is going to escalate at that point, because Scorpio coupled with a retrograde Jupiter. It's when Jupiter goes retrograde, the expansion contracts, and that means it goes back and it does what's familiar and pulls in. So, Mars and Scorpio, what the heck? Oh, I think I've got my mic set way high. Let me see if I can lower it a bit so I don't blast your ears off. Yeah, my goodness. Sorry about that. Anyway, and then the Pluto aspect, which is right at the center, squaring both Mars and Uranus, is trying to make some sense of it all. And that's the elderly, that's authority, it's everything that's covered under Capricorn. So it's people who are older than you, tradition. This year I find it really interesting with Uranus opposite Mars square Pluto. I just feel like everyone is so much more into Christmas right now. And I know even me, I have years where I don't even care about it. And then there are years where I'm just like, yeah, I can't wait for it. I need it now. And this is one of those years where I just feel like, bring it on. And Capricorn is classic Christmas energy. So there is this somewhat tug of war with the T-square between Mars, Uranus, and Pluto. Now, keeping in mind Pluto and Uranus are not in exact square anymore, and they will not meet up again for a while, like decades. And, well, in a square, in a negative aspect, not negative, but a difficult aspect. But they are all 1 degree apart. So Pluto's at 14, Mars is at 15, and Uranus is at 16. So right now, in this week, let's just see how long Mars will be staying there. I'm sorry, every time I look at my book, I have to put my glasses back on. So, okay, so Mars is going to be within the edge of the exact square in opposition. Well, I'm going to just give it to like 16, which is Uranus, and that's the 19th of December. So another 11 days, it's going to be pretty intense with this escalated aggressive energy. So I hope that helps you a little bit, because I know I've been feeling it, and many of you have been feeling it as well. So, yeah, it's very much about authority, balance, shift and change, and wherever it falls in your chart, that's where you're feeling those energies. So we'll talk to you here, and then I'm going to take a break. Why don't I take a break and get that out of the way, and then we'll have a little bit longer to talk to callers. And again, the number is 347-994-3365, and you get to go to your happy place. Yay. In these days of stress, running around, responsibilities, we all need a little place to go to make it all better. Is that place sports, football, or maybe you like to garden, paint, or just listen to music? Wherever your happy place is, you can find a shirt or mug to reflect that happy place. At myhappyplace.rocks, we have a variety of lifestyle products, including iPhone cases, pajamas, and pet items, all with beautiful, colorful designs, which help us go to our happy place. Stop by on the web for great gift ideas for others and yourself. myhappyplace.rocks. Lenny Pickett appears courtesy of Random Act Records. Check them out at randomactrecords.com. Okay, well, welcome back. My name is Shelley Overton, and this is the AstroEnergy Show on Blog Talk Radio. And if you would like to get a reading for yourself or as a gift for someone else, I have gift certificate options. I will double check that this afternoon, though, but pretty sure I have a gift certificate option on my website. Let's just put it that way. And you can get those through astrologerangel.com, which is my website. And let's see, you can also go to, I've got a few other things I'm going to promote here, shameless promotion. If you want to buy any of the artwork that I have produced and put up online, I also have some of that. You can get prints. There are some that are original you can also get through the website, but go to ShelleyOverton.com, which is SHELLEY, Overton.com, and you can see some of my beautiful bright colored art, and I have some, I don't know, it's probably more landscape and realistic, but I just gravitate towards bright colors. I think it's just who I am. Probably my Venus and Leo. Anyway, let's get to the phone lines real quick here so we can take your calls and make up for last week. So let's see what we have. 828, if it catches up. Is this Danielle?
Hi, Shelley. Yeah, Danielle.
Hi, what's going on, Danielle?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Oh, good. I'm just hanging in there, you know, doing lots of work and trying to get things to work electronically, which Uranus retrograde is still giving me a tough time with. But that's okay. It's all good this week. I took extra time and made sure that things were on track. And I did have a glitch, but I took care of it. So what can I do for you today?
Could you help me understand what's going on between me and my dad?
Sure. Do you want to give me his birth information? Or
yes,
just look in your chart? Okay.
It's March 13th, 1940.
Okay. March 13th, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, 1940. Well, I can tell you out of the gate, definitely there's some energy he's feeling from the Pluto and Capricorn. And do you know the time or no?
It's 12:36 p.m.
Okay. And where did you say he was born?
Leadville, Colorado, like a lead pencil.
Oh, I know how to spell Leadville. I've been to Leadville. I've lived, I'm from Denver, so I know Leadville.
Okay.
That's awesome. I've never met anybody or heard of anyone born there, so that's pretty unique. It's a pretty small town. Yeah, very cool. Okay, hang on a second. Let's just see. So do you want me to see what's going on with you together or with what's going on in his life and his transits?
Whatever you feel, with whatever you're drawn to say or do.
I tell you what, I'll put your charts together because I pretty much know what's going on in the sky, and I'll just lay that over mentally, lay it over the chart of the two of you together. Oh, you know what else? I'm actually going to do a chart. I want to see kind of where he's coming from as well. I can tell you better what's going on between the two of you with the charts together, but I also want to know what he's going through, which will help me get a better view of where he's at with things. Okay, he's got a Cancer rising, and he's got Neptune in Virgo, so he's got Jupiter coming up on that. He's got Jupiter 3 degrees off of his Neptune. He's very idealistic when it comes to how he sees things. He's got that Neptune in Virgo, which is pretty pragmatic, and, you know, when you have Neptune is your ideals and, like, how you express what you think would be the perfect utopian situation. And in Virgo's utopia is everybody's responsible. They take care of what they say they'll take care of. They're left brain. They're analytical. They're logical. And it's in his house of communications and thought. So he's a very practical person. And Jupiter's only expanding that. So he can be critical. He can be a bit judgmental. And it's kind of getting more intense for him with that Jupiter, and it's going to go on. He's being asked to expand his consciousness with Jupiter, and Jupiter wants him to look beyond just the pragmatic and spread out into some of the more spiritual side of life and the healing side, because that's Virgo's positive energy, is healing and altruism and service, versus criticism and self-doubt. That's the ego negative side. So he's got that going on. I mean, he's been through a lot with the Saturn transit in the last few years also. And now Mars is in his house of home and family. So is he needing to balance something at home? Does he have a new partner, or is he spending time trying to connect to someone in the home environment? Would that be you? Is he trying?
Yeah, me.
Okay. Yeah, because Venus is also in his house of home and family, and you're Venus, and Venus is 1 degree away from leaving the house of home and family and going into the house of children. So it's going to put more attention on you from that aspect as well. When Venus and Mars go into Scorpio at the beginning of the year, well, actually, by then, Venus will be getting closer to Sagittarius, but Mars will be going into that, and that's going to put more of a spotlight on probably the friction and where to get the commitment with your father, because Mars will be taking action. And Scorpio, again, Scorpio is very black and white, and it's in positive aspect to his Virgo, but both signs, Virgo and Scorpio, can be very decisive and very analytical. And so if you can get past the left brain Neptune, next year he's going to spend more time trying to connect, which is what Scorpio wants to do. Scorpio wants to merge, okay? So Mars in the house of children in Scorpio is going to want to understand and merge ideas. Unfortunately, it also brings up a lot of his pragmatic side on the other side of the chart. He's got Uranus, this is a lot. Uranus, Mars, Moon, and Venus all in Taurus. So there's a certain energy of his nature that is about possessing women. Like, he sees them probably more as material goods. And the moon is next to Venus. There is also a side of him. It's really interesting because this cluster of planets, Venus is women, Moon is women, then he has Mars and Uranus, which are both very masculine energies, and they're all in the house of Aquarius, which is detachment. And he has Uranus in Aquarius in that house. It's in Taurus, but it's in the Aquarian house. So he's got this certain amount of detachment. So I think on some level, he doesn't necessarily see how he treats women. Do you think that's true?
Oh, yes. Very much.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, his mixture of planets, he has Sun in Pisces conjunct Mercury in Pisces. So that's at the end degrees of Pisces, which means his ego is wrapping up a certain story, but there is another side of his life. It's like when he came into this world, he already knew a certain amount about spirituality. And I think he's got Saturn at 29 Aries. He wanted to understand the masculine energy this time around, and he's got Jupiter, which expands the masculine energy. And then, yes, Taurus is a feminine sign, but it's also the material expression of what's going on in the first house as well. So he's a salesman. He can market himself, like in the career path. I can't imagine him ever being without a job unless his Saturn were afflicted, by a transit. He's got so much power and energy. He's a really strong person. Has he been difficult to deal with all your life?
Oh, yeah, really abusive and mean.
I can see that. Mm-hmm. Well, he has a 0 degree Pluto in Leo. So right now Saturn is in positive aspect to his Pluto. There's major life changes going on with him. And honestly, I want to say he's probably channeling a little bit of narcissism, and things are going well in some regard. So he's probably just going, yeah, I'm all that, like things are going his way.
Right.
I mean, it's hard when things are going your way to think that you're in the wrong. you know?
Yeah.
But next year with Mars in Scorpio, there will be friction, and the Saturn in Sagittarius is going into the workhouse. So that's kind of in a difficult aspect for all his Taurus because it's in conjunct, which is 150 degrees. So it's like not the comfortable energy he feels in expressing the deeper personal side of himself. Again, his personal planets are up there in the humanitarian house as opposed to the personal side of things. The lower half of the chart is personal and the upper half is transpersonal. So he sees things on a broader scale, especially coming into healing and to work and the spiritual thing. It's very much the broader sense. But he is passionate about connecting to people. Pluto and Leo, they want to connect, but they also maybe sometimes get sidetracked by feeling like they know what's best and they don't listen to other people. And he's got a few reinforcements of that in his chart. So what are you looking to find out specifically? Like if it's going to end or some kind of argument, or what is it you want to know specifically?
Well, he is actually dead, and but I can still feel him.
That makes it a bit difficult, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I have to work on the relationship while he's on in wherever he's at on the other dimension or whatever.
How long has he been passed away?
Since 2007.
Okay, so a bit of time. Okay,
yeah.
So do you want me to just look then at your point of view, obviously, because, you know, he's not going to change in the material world anyway, and obviously he's transitioned, so, you know, he's still getting affected, I suppose. The energy he left behind is probably the best way to express it. So, pardon me?
I can still feel him.
Wow. Well, his Neptune is coming up on your Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Libra. So that's interesting. Well, actually, no, I take it back. I'm sorry. It's not coming up on it. It's there. That's where it's at for you. So it does relate to money. And let me just pull over the chart real quick here and find out. You know what? Honestly, I'm kicking into reading mode, and I really need to keep it a little shorter because we do have other people to answer to. So if you could just ask like one question specifically, then I could give you the answer, and I can get other callers in. But if you could just tell me one question.
What else you feel I should know?
No, that's too broad. I need something more specific. I will. Why don't you let me look at your chart and just tell you something of what's going on for you? Okay, so as far as your father's concerned, Pluto in Capricorn is literally on the edge of your house of children and moving out into work. So I think the way to process some of what's going on with him, and Jupiter is almost on his Neptune, which is coming up on your Jupiter. So there is an expansion of that energy. So what I'm seeing in your chart regarding the parental, masculine father side of things is if you take the lessons you learned from him as a provider and a worker and a career man, then you can use that for your own career, okay, your own work environment, because that's what he was here to teach you, is how to be more pragmatic about certain things. And it's not like you have a lot of air in your chart and a lot of air and water. You have a little bit of fire, but mostly air and water. So, you know, what he's doing is saying, okay, that's all well and good, but you need to ground more because you have a lot to give. You can, I mean, the Pluto going in your house of work brings in that, what I said about tradition and the elderly. You know, you're here to kind of take the reins from the previous generation and move forward with the energy, and that's the lesson he's giving you, is the pragmatism of it. And I would say that's the best thing I could give you from your father. Your Chiron is in Taurus right there, where he had Uranus. So there was a huge detachment from that nurturing side of him. And he also had, I think he had Chiron in Cancer. He was there was a detachment from his mother as well. That was his wounding. And it was right on the horizon when he was born. So his issue was with his mother and some form of hurt from her, and he took it out on women in his lifetime. So.
Oh, yes, he did.
I'm so sorry. Yeah. Well, okay. Danielle, sending you big hugs and love, okay? I know you check in every so often, but, it's time to take the reins and be the person you want to be, and know that there's a side of life, that earth groundedness, that maybe can show you something if you don't liken it to how he treated you. It's kind of like the idea in a ideological sense of like when someone says, I don't want to be rich because rich are cruel when they're wealthy. They don't treat people well. Well, that's just one example of what wealth can do. But, you can be wealthy and own it for yourself. So it's kind of like that with being grounded and being pragmatic. You don't have to be abusive if you connect to that energy. And it is with Pluto and Capricorn, it is what Capricorn's trying to express right now is, how to be pragmatic without being mean. Okay?
Okay. Thank you very much, Shelley.
You're welcome. Love to you.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Love you.
Thanks. Take care. Okay, let's take 415. Hi, 415. Who is this?
Hi, this is Jessica.
Hey, Jessica. Have you called the show before?
Yeah, a while ago, though.
Oh, okay. Wow. So you found me. Awesome. You found me again. I was hiding. Okay. I don't have your chart unless you had a different area code. I probably do under a different area code.
Information if you want.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do that. It'll be quicker probably. So okay. What can I do here?
It's 7/16/77.
Okay. 7/16. Whoops, sorry. 1/6. Yeah, that's what I said. Okay. And what time?
7:12 p.m.
7:12 p.m. Okay. And what city?
New York, New York.
Oh, one of my favorites. And my daughter's too. She just went there this summer. She's like, I love New York.
Yeah.
Well, Taylor Swift is there, so everything is New York for my daughter now. It used to be Tennessee, but now it's New York. So, okay, what can I do for you? One question, if you don't mind.
Yes. I wanted to know what's going on with my career. A part of me feels like, okay, move forward, let's change. There's a transition going on. The other part of me is like really confused, and it's like I don't even know what to do. So I wanted to know what that's all about and when that's going to end.
Okay, transition. I'm sorry, you saying transition with romance? Because I thought you said romance.
Career.
Okay, well, a big part of what that is the inconjunct between Uranus and your natal Uranus. And your natal Uranus is in Scorpio at your midheaven, right there in the career house. That means you really want, what you would do well with probably, you're extremely gifted with therapy and psychology. Did you know that?
Right, which I do, like I do all that. It's just the thing is like I just don't even know what to do to move. I know what I want to do, but I don't know what
do you want to do?
What steps to take to move forward.
Okay, what do you want to do?
I'm moving into the corporate realm, sort of like doing therapy in corporate, basically.
Awesome.
Therapy
okay.
And healing work. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just looking for those aspects in your chart real quick here. Okay, well, you have
like the action forward. I'm very focused with what to take, and I just feel like confused a lot.
No, I understand that. That's Neptune influencing you as well. Neptune and retrograde Uranus definitely are adding to the confusion right now. Pluto in your first house, you are up for a life change. That is the connection to corporate America. I'm glad you said that, because I say the elderly a lot, because when a lot of callers call in and they're healers, the elderly, if I see a strong Capricorn and I say, the elderly is definitely something you resonate with, but corporate America is too, and government work. And Scorpio in your midheaven, definitely there's some stuff that could resonate with lawyers, politics, politicians, etc. But Capricorn rising is corporate America. You like that structure. You get grounded and have direction from that. You have Pluto just past a square to your natal Uranus, so there was probably some type of stress coming out of what to do there. Uranus retrograde, again, is more likely what's really making you go, I don't know. When it goes direct at the end of the month, you will be clearer about it. And as far as the steps are concerned, let me see. You've got all this action-driven energy in Sagittarius in your 12th and also in a little bit of your 11th. So Saturn, which is structure and authority and career, is coming up on your Neptune, within 5 degrees of your Neptune, and that's your dream job. And so what I'm guessing is you've probably gotten the message to move or look in places far away from where you are. And if you haven't looked in other places for a job, or, you know, maybe consider moving, that's not always the case, but let me see a few things going.
Wait,
yeah.
When does that dream job thing happen? When does that happen?
When does your dream job happen? Hang on a second. I'll tell you. So what you're looking for is Saturn conjunct your Jupiter. And what you want is it to be going direct and not retrograding and then going direct again. You want it to pass over it and keep going, which means that now this is the culmination and you're not going to have to revisit it. So let me just make sure that that's not going to happen. Okay, so that is going to happen for you because Saturn will retrograde. So 2016 is a strong year of making steps forward, going back, reconsidering, maybe renegotiating, and then making the final pass. And the final pass will happen for you in October of next year. So October, I won't even give you the exact date that it pushes right on through, and that's the 25th of October in 2016. That's when, so Saturn is 5 degrees off, and he'll get to your exact degree on, what I'm telling you is Saturn is on your Neptune, okay? So that's the influence I'm looking at. So Saturn, and I've said this before in many shows, it goes forward, it goes retrograde, it goes forward again. The first pass is the heads up. This is what issue you're going to be dealing with. The retrograde is, oh no, that's not the action I should take. I got to back up, rethink, reconsider, find another path. Then when he goes direct again, he makes the final pass over that degree in your chart, and then it's clear sailing. Now you've got to culminate and move forward, and this is the issue, and now it's done, and you know where you're going. So that's in your house of money from career, negotiating the money from your career. Also, the path that is fulfilling for you because it's Neptune. Neptune is at the last degree before it gets out of that house. So it's also going to be pretty big when Saturn transits into your 12th house. And I do see that you're going to be coming up on a time of higher spiritual awakening at the end of next year when Saturn gets into your 12th house, and it's in Sagittarius, and it was on your Neptune. So you really are finishing up an old story around your ideals. I shouldn't say that. You're not finishing up the whole story. What you're doing is you're culminating what you're going to do about the story, okay? That's coming up at the latest October. Mm-hmm.
When does that first part of it, like you said, the heads up, when does the first part of it start?
It hasn't hit yet. The very first is going to be when it hits 13 degrees, which is January. It's going to be January 28th.
Right.
Yeah. Between the 27th and 28th.
I mean, the stress comes
You're already
from the
feeling
finances. I mean, the stress is like, because I really want to be increasing my finances, and usually people associate that with career.
Okay, I understand. What you just said is what your lesson is. People associate that with career. Well, it's people. It's something outside of yourself. You need to focus on your inner voice. Your inner voice, I can tell you by looking at your chart, is telling you need to not worry. And you need to follow your drive to do, like, Sagittarius, Neptune in Sagittarius is a wanderer. It's a spiritual seeker of truth. Saturn is saying you need to follow what comes your way and not worry about, and that I can guarantee you, Sagittarius, and I'm going to tell my friend in the chat room, she knows who she is. She's got a Sagittarius Saturn. That the Saturn in Sagittarius worries, one of the few signs that may have any worries in Sagittarius, one of the few planets. But Neptune is so in tune with that Sagittarian energy. It's spiritual, religious energy, and it's spiritual seeking. When Saturn hits Neptune, it's about listening to that drive to wander and to be taught and to teach and to grow. So it can be education, it can be music, it can be travel, it can be, sports. Whatever your niche is, you follow that, because Sagittarius as a sign doesn't generally worry about the consequences. And while the Capricorns of the universe do, right now Saturn's in Sagittarius, Sun's in Sagittarius, Mercury's almost out of it, and Mercury's probably going to hit you too, because it's going into Capricorn and it wants that structure. It wants to know safety. For the month Mercury's in Capricorn, you're going to be like, oh no, safety, safety, safety net, money. That's
when is that? In January?
Yeah. Well, half of December too, because it goes in, like pretty quickly here. The 10th of December. So in 2 days. So yeah, in 2 days, and then it goes into it goes into Aquarius for a day, and then retrogrades back into Capricorn for the middle of January. So yeah, you're going to get it for 2 months. And so I'm just going to tell you, this is the definitive thing I'm going to tell you. Mercury is going to trigger your fear, because Capricorn, that's the weak point. Capricorn is the weak point, and it's in your 12th house. So it's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Saturn is trying to have you make a heads up and go, okay, I know that could be fearful, and I'm going to face my fears, because that's what Sagittarius does. Face down the fears, okay? And don't worry about the consequences.
I feel like I did this already, and I just kind of like followed wherever the universe took me, but that was not a way to accumulate wealth, and that was just a way to get by.
No. It's not about airy-fairy, hate using that, but it's not about that. It's not about, well, I'm just going to feel the love and it's all beautiful. It's about using the energies of the planets where they are today. Jupiter, ruler of Sagittarius, is in pragmatic, practical, analytical Virgo. It's in your house of money from others. It's in your house of politics. It's in all that. Your chart really is telling me that there's something connected to politicians or law, or potentially like businesses like that. So if you're looking for someplace to go, look to law offices. Like, are you doing healing work? Is that what you do?
Yeah, but I mean, I haven't really been working on anybody. But I'm actually having a meeting with lawyers Thursday. So
okay.
To partnership. So that's good.
Yes. Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm telling you. Hello.
Right. That's how I was seeing it line up.
Yes. Yeah. So law, politicians, anything like that. You've got so much strong Scorpio in your house of career, which rules the 8th house, and you have Jupiter transiting the 8th house right now. But the kicker is you have Saturn in Leo just into the house of, which Saturn is your career and life purpose, in that 8th house, which is ruled by Scorpio. So it's all saying, that's where I see it, is it relates to politicians or lawyers in your chart. And it can relate to accountants too, if you want, but mostly like the law or politicians. I mean, Uranus and Scorpio, you are very talented with that type of thing as well. So with law and anything regarding law.
Okay. So basically I'm hearing, because I was like, I don't know what area to target as far as like possible clients. So basically you're saying go after lawyers. Yeah,
that's what
I can do that. That's exciting to me.
Do the lawyers.
I like that. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's super helpful. Thank you very much.
Okay, awesome. I'm glad I finally got to the heart of it. Thanks, Jessica.
Thank you. All right, have a great day.
All right, you take care. Thanks. Bye. Okay, let's take 561. Hi, 561. Who's this?
Hi, this is Stacy.
Hi, Stacy. How are you? You found me too. Yay.
I'm fine.
Okay. Pardon me?
No, I was saying I'm fine, thank you. Sorry.
Oh, good. No, that's okay. What can I do for you today?
Well, I wanted to know what you see coming up with my career.
I'm sorry, with your what?
With my career.
Oh, your career. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
First off, I'm going to ask you where you're at right now, and then I can better address it knowing the past instead of just, throwing a bunch of stuff out and finally hitting the truth. So what specifically are you doing, and what do you want to know from me? Like, are you wanting to change jobs?
need advancement. You know, I need opportunity to advance myself.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, listen to what I just told the last caller, because you have a 14-degree Capricorn rising and she had a 15-degree. So you have the same rising sign. You have Pluto on your Jupiter really asking you to make a life change and take ownership of what it is you're good at, which is you're good at organization. You've got Mars and Scorpio in your house of career. You've got today, Moon, Venus are transiting that house. Mars is going to transit it next year. Mars is almost on Uranus at your midheaven in Libra, so it's about partnering. Do you have anyone partnering in your own business, actually? Saturn's in Sagittarius right now, 3 degrees off of your Neptune. So again, you also are looking to manifest your career. But for you, you should have gotten the message already about where you want to go, like spiritually. Saturn will be retrograding, like I said to the last caller, and it will still be triggering the same houses. You know, you both have the same house being triggered in the same area. But for you, you've already felt the hit of Saturn on your on your Venus, your Mercury, and your Neptune. Desire, love, thinking about, you know, educational aspect, definitely strong education stuff going on, and then Neptune and Sagittarius. All those have been triggered, and so you're still going to feel some of this energy and the culmination of what you want to do with that next year. But your Uranus is in Libra, and so is your Pluto. So I'm thinking yours is much more story of finding someone else that can balance you out and help you take direction. Do you have anyone like that?
Actually, I have several lined up, but I'm like trying to figure out which way do I go, you know.
Okay, well, tell me a couple alternatives, and then I'll tell you what it sounds better.
Couple alternatives.
Mhm. Yeah, like what you said. You have a couple ways to go. What are the couple ways to go?
I'm just saying I have a couple based on what I do. You know, like because I can get very creative, and I have friends who want to partner up with me and like you know financially. Right. But the drawback is it's my ideas, and I don't want to be actually stuck in a situation where I'm doing all the work and then I have to,
no,
you know,
okay. So this is what I'll tell you. Okay, I'm gonna tell you exactly what I think should go on. You have a partner. You've got strong energy going through Sagittarius. You have strong Sagittarius energy in your chart. You'd be really good with real estate. Real estate has enough of the material energy. I don't know if that's something that resonates with you, but a lot of Sagittarius and, you know, real estate is, yeah. But what I'm saying is that you've got a Capricorn rising, so they need something tangible and earth energy, and so would also resonate with that Capricorn as well for you. And you have Jupiter in Capricorn. So that's the structure. That's a physical structure. Pluto is right on your Jupiter. It's major life change. Saturn, so you got a mutual reception going on between your Jupiter and Capricorn and transiting Saturn and Sagittarius. That means they're both in each other's signs. So it's about putting the structure to it. If you've got a partner, do the partner. It's a unique situation with the partner. Uranus at the midheaven means there's going to be something unusual about it. Your Pluto on your rising sign is you need to recognize that you can take over responsibility very easily, and you need to not do that. So it comes back to you. If you don't want them doing all of the work, then don't do, or you don't want them having you do all the work, don't do all the work. It's very simple. So that's the part you have to own, okay?
Okay.
So I that's all I have time to tell you. So yeah, partner definitely.
That was very helpful though.
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad you called, and have a lovely week, okay?
You too. Thank you.
Thanks. You're welcome. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, that's the end of the show. I apologize to the person who probably called long distance from another country who didn't get on this week. Please do call next week, and I will take your call first next week. Take care. Bye. Thanks for stopping stopping by AstroEnergy this week. If you would like to get a hold of Shelley Overton, you can get her at astrologerangel.com, on Facebook at AstroEnergy or Astrologer Angel. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com with additional music by Ironwood Rain. Check them out on the net at ironwoodrain.com.